Hello, everybody, and welcome to the intermediate class. We have a lot to talk about and some important grammar issues dealing with verbs of obligation. So here we go. Let's get started. Bad manners. So we're going to talk about all sorts of interesting things dealing with your phone. So I think this is not only an interesting and informative lesson, but it's going to be really helpful and I think really interesting to talk about. One of the things we're going to discuss is what are things people do with their phone that bothers you? And I think all of us have these pet peeves. I'm going to write this word down, pet peeves, or things that irritate us, things that irritate us. Pet peeves are things people do or something that causes you to react in an exaggerated way. You react more than normal because it drives you crazy. This is a pet peeve, something that you react very strongly to, and it's obviously negative. But sometimes people, like today at the coffee shop, maybe they talk too loudly, or they're watching a video or a music video on their phone really loudly. These can be irritants. Irritants is the noun. These can be irritants. This can make us angry. Make us angry. All right, so let's get started. We're going to look here. Now, we are aided, we are assisted by these, you can see here, listening files. So we have phone language, and you're going to do 4.1 and 4.2. What's really interesting is they're going to do actions, and you're going to have to listen and decide what happened. And so this is, I think, very interesting exercise, 4.1 and 4.2. And then in C, this is where it gets interesting for discussion. Look at number 3. Have you ever sent a text message to the wrong person? This can be potentially very embarrassing. So we can talk about some of these faux pas, this is French, these things that are very embarrassing or that we did and they're hard to undo. You can't reverse them. Once you send a message, you can try to delete it quickly, but if they see it and then you delete it, it's even more suspicious, maybe. Sometimes it's very innocent, but it can be embarrassing. So this is great for discussion. We're going to talk about this in either the speaking club or with your speaking partners or in the live with me. Now we're going to get serious with grammar, verbs of obligation and prohibition. I'm going to let you read this article. We're not going to do 4.3. We're going to read this article for vocabulary. I'm going to help you with some of the vocabulary, and the book will help you with phrases. Mobile phone going off. If a mobile phone is going off, it's ringing. It's someone's calling you, or it's ringing, or messages or something, but generally it's a phone call. That's what it means by going off, or an alarm. So it's two things, an alarm or someone's calling, that's a phone going off. You've got here a device. A device is something like a phone, and they actually explain it to you. Any portable is to carry. You can port it, to carry it. Any portable device needs to be checked in if you're in certain very serious venues. A venue is a place like a theater. A venue is a theater hall or concert hall. These are venues. This is a French word, and we call these venues. Sometimes you must check your devices in. To check in means you have to put them in, and they're not allowed to be in the concert hall, in that theater. The cloakroom is where you put not your cloak. Well, in old times, cloak, but now it's the coat room. But it's in these formal or established places, they call it a cloakroom as well. So it's the coat room or the cloakroom. And if you look below here, you can see during the interval, do you know what the interval is? The interval is that period that period between episodes or chapters, or the act. If you're in an opera, it's an act 1, act 2, and between these acts, or these, first half and second half of a performance, is called an interval or a pause, but more normally an interval. And that's when you can go out and stretch your legs, go to the bathroom, the restroom, or get a drink in some cases. All right, let's now go to the grammar book, page 138. We're going to go down here. Here it is. Prohibition. Now, some of you have looked at this, but we're going to review it. Verbs of obligation. Obligation means you must do it. And prohibition means you can't do it. You're not allowed. It's prohibited. Obligation, you're obliged to do it. You must do it. So we can actually use these words, obliged and prohibited. These are bigger words that you'll encounter in upper intermediate. But for now, we're going to look at the modal verbs have to, must, should, and so forth. So let's take a look. I'm going to read these, not the audio file. I'm going to do that for them. You have to switch off your phone during takeoff and landing. So these are have to and must. You can see here, have to and must are verbs of obligation. It's something that is necessary to do. You have to do it. There's no choice. You must be on time tomorrow because there's a test. You can't be late. I love the Louvre. You have to go when you're in Paris. And you must see this film. It's amazing. I had to wear a uniform at my primary school. I hate having to get up early. Do you have to work on Saturdays, and must I switch my phone off? Now, I will tell you, I don't use must very often. Must I switch my phone off? No, I would probably say, do I have to switch my phone off? That's more common. I honestly don't use must very much. And I suspect, I'm guessing you don't either. So let's go ahead. And so I use have to a lot. You have to do that. You have to do the homework if you want to improve. Must I use sometimes. I use don't have to a lot. You don't have to go to the party if you don't want to. So that means there's no obligation. It's okay if you don't go. You don't have to attend the speaking clubs or the speaking practice during the week. That's fine. It's optional. You don't have to go. You don't have to attend. And so those are ones I use quite frequently. Now, interestingly, should and shouldn't. Yeah, I do. You should. This is great when you give advice or an opinion. I think you should go. You haven't been out all holiday. You should go with them and have fun. You shouldn't. Parents can often do this. You shouldn't drink. Actually, they probably are more of a command. Don't drink too much coffee. If they're more diplomatic, they would say you shouldn't drink too much coffee. But sometimes parents just give commands. Don't do it, as opposed to advice. All right, you've got homework along this line, and any of the ones you missed, take note of. The answers are in the teacher book below, so you can check your answers and see how you're doing. If you have questions, you can ask me during the live. And we're going to go back here, and here's the grammar, right? Whoa, there it is. Pronunciation. This is great. You're going to actually have the audio files are going to help you with this. This is a very important exercise. So I want you to do it very carefully and try to emulate. Emulate means copy. Try to copy what they're saying in the audio files. And then you can practice saying these sentences. I'll practice these with you. Letter C. We walked round the whole island. Your turn. Listen to all the letters I leave out. Number 2, you mustn't talk, just listen. Number 3, everyone should learn a foreign language. Listen to how I say the last part, foreign language. And finally, the taxi ought to be here in half an hour. Now, you can judge how well your English is progressing by recording your voice and listening to the way I said these sentences versus the way you did. Or record your voice when you're saying the words that the audio files are also saying. So listen to these next to each other and you can hear how much you're improving. Honestly, recording your voice is probably the fastest way to improve. Record, listen, get embarrassed. We all do, not just you, and then improve it. All right, so then we have some speaking, some great questions here. Do you think people who do this, annoying, this is, I think you can go ahead and look at some of the questions above. And great, here are lots of different speaking topics that you can talk about or that we will talk about. 13 annoying. Annoying means, oh, people get angry. Annoying things people do with their phones. So you can tell us which things annoy you. And then we have listening. This is a rather, I would say, a bit difficult because the first part, you have to sort of take notes. So you're listening and then sort of summarizing in short form, a few words, what the problem is. So really try to do 4.9. It's a little bit difficult, but I think worth it. And then 4.10, you actually fill in the blanks. So you listen to it, some extracts. Extracts are short pieces of speech. Listen to the extracts and try to fill in the missing words and make sure the spelling is correct. And you can do that by checking the answers in the teacher's guide. And then listen to the whole program and then perhaps have this discussion with these questions with your speaking partner or possibly with us during the live. Now, again, more great speaking questions, good manners, bad manners, what should someone do? Very, very recently, I was on holiday in the Caribbean, in the Dominican Republic, and I met a dignitary, someone, the host of the home, but I didn't know them very well. And I remember, this just recently happened, I was thinking, how should I greet them? Because I don't know them, they're rather official. Should I shake their hand like Americans would do? Should I offer a slight hug and kiss, which is what's common? And then I remembered, how many times should I kiss them? I can't remember if it's one cheek or two. I knew it wasn't three. So I decided to have a very distant hug, so hug but not close, and one not even kiss, just sort of pretending to kiss on the cheek. And that worked very well, and that was sort of accepted. But sometimes people get very offended if you get too close. So it's good to find out what the manners are. What's the etiquette? Let me spell that word. I've used it a few times. It's French. What's the etiquette? Social etiquette. This is how expectations of behavior. Behavior is how you act, What are the expectations of how you act? When you are invited to someone's house for a meal, what should you bring? In some countries, you're not expected to bring anything. In others, it'll be offensive. This is a big word. It'll be offensive if you don't bring something like a bottle of wine. Offensive, meaning people get offended, angry, a little bit angry. All right. So these are great discussion questions, especially since we all come from different parts of the world. What are you expected to do? Interestingly, and I think surprisingly, when we come here, when you go to someone's house, do you know that you're not expected to take off your shoes in many cases? In the Dominican Republic, when I was there for a very nice meal, a graduation meal for a professor friend of mine, no one took their shoes off. I was a bit surprised, but that's the culture there. They don't have carpet, they have stone, so that makes it a bit easier. There's not a lot of dirt that, sort of accumulates. In the US, you also don't take your shoes off unless it's a very special request by the host. But in Japan and many other parts of the world, if you don't take your shoes off, it's very rude. What about your country? What are the expectations? All right, very interesting. Also, social media, what are the expectations? I know in some countries, women have their faces hidden or, covered. They don't post their face, and others, they post maybe too much of their body. So we have a big range of acceptability depending on where you live. All right. Now, if you want to improve your speaking as you're talking with me or the speaking partners or in the speaking club, here are some things to practice. I think people should. I think it's rude, selfish, inappropriate to. I don't think it's important to. I don't think you have to. I hate it when. It really annoys me when. Right, practice using these when someone asks for your opinion, because you're not going to improve your speaking unless you consciously make a plan. All right, I'm going to use 2 of these during our discussion. So when you go to any sort of speaking engagement in our course, have it planned. Have 2 or 3 things that you want to say new that you've never done. If you're not doing that, you're not growing as fast as you could. Have 2 new words and 2 new phrases that you've never said that you want to say for the first time. And let me tell you, you do this over and over, it becomes a habit, and your English goes like this. And people are saying, how did you do it? It involves a little discipline and planning. It doesn't even involve talent so much. Well, it does. If you've got a great memory, then you don't need to write it. That's talent. But for most of us, like me, you write it down, you plan it, and then you use it. And that's how you remember it. I remember as many words as I do in different languages because I actually need to write them down. I remember things when I write them down. You can do it in any way you want, but have a plan. And it doesn't have to be a big plan. It can be 3 minutes. It takes 2 minutes to write all of this down. And then suddenly you are expanding your vocabulary. All right, you've got a lot to do here. So I'm going to wish you well. I'm going to happy studying. Stay positive. Enjoy the process of learning step by step. And I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.